on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I feel like the best I can say is let the games begin, because it seems as though that's exactly what's happening. We're going to have some fun. Got a lot of good news to talk about, some very interesting stories, in fact, to share. I think you guys are going to be, we got some really good news moving on at the moment, and the Democrats are just floundering. It made me kind of realize, too, it's like I used to be bothered by the whole everyone's a racist thing. Now it's just become funny to me. They've literally just burned that out. It's fantastic. So we got a petition right now that's out calling for Denmark to buy California. They've secured more than 230,000 votes. Cramp. Yeah, kidding. I'm just kidding. Really don't care. I think it's funny as hell. 230,000 signatures. Go, Denmark. Buy California. I hope you do. I live here. My taxes will probably go down. That'd be cool. All said, Tulsi Gabbard has officially joined the, fuck around and find out crowd. Kind of cool.
I, Tulsi Gabbard, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely.
I take this obligation freely.
Without.
I wonder what she's got her hand on, like the Bhagavad Gita or what? Because I think she's Hindi, I think her husband's from India. I'm making some assumptions here, but she did get the ceremony when she married him with the dot and stuff, so I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. Oh, well. And here was Trump actually signing it. This is a big-ass piece of paper, isn't it? Holy crud. Damn. You can put that on your refrigerator, sweetheart. That's where it should go. Big magnet on it. Be just proud of that. I would be. Felt like it was very difficult getting that across the finish line, or you across the finish line, I should say. Making America healthy again. RFK Jr. has now officially been confirmed by the Senate. Really? He is officially our HHS secretary. I know he got through the smaller group. Voted against him to lead the HHS. McConnell, he made it through the large. Okay, McConnell, who survived polio and everything else. He was the one that voted against RFK Jr.'s nomination to lead the Department of Health. He's a survivor of polio and everything else, so he believes in vaccines, obviously. Other Republican senators, including Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, were hesitant to support Kennedy's confirmation, but said their concerns were assuaged after he assured them he would not use his position to spread anti-vaccine rhetoric. McConnell has voted against this, everybody, frankly. McConnell's been a big, giant stick in the mud. McConnell's probably not going to stick around too long on this earth. Carolyn Leavitt's calling out the fake news media straight to their face.
Many outlets in this room have been fear-mongering the American people into believing there is a constitutional crisis taking place here at the White House. I've been hearing those words a lot lately. But in fact, the real constitutional crisis is taking place within our judicial branch, where district court judges in liberal districts across the country are abusing their power to unilaterally block President Trump's basic executive authority. We believe these judges are acting as judicial activists rather than honest arbiters of the law, and they have issued at least 12 injunctions against this administration in the past 14 days, often without citing any evidence or grounds for their lawsuits. This is part of a larger concerted effort by Democrat activists and nothing more than the continuation of the weaponization of justice against President Trump. Quick news flash to these liberal judges who are supporting their obstructionist efforts. 77 million Americans voted to elect this president, and each injunction is an abuse of the rule of law and an attempt to thwart the will of the people. As the president clearly stated in the Oval Office yesterday, we will comply with the law in the courts, but we will also continue to seek every legal remedy to ultimately overturn these radical injunctions and ensure President Trump's policies can be enacted.
Boom. Yep, straight to their face. And that's where we are. These judges are just radical craziness, so we'll definitely get into that some more. Here's Trump talking about there's no, let me see, what is he saying here? If I can key it up. President Trump commends Elon, announces the news conference for tomorrow. I think, 200 expenditures that he's going to be calling out in a news conference. I believe this is actually tomorrow. February 12th. No, so today, some point, Trump is supposed to be doing this, probably shortly after I start uploading this. But here is him talking about it.
Considering exemption, talk about widespread fraud and abuse.
Oh, yeah, tremendous fraud. There's tremendous fraud. And it's hard to believe that you can have that kind of fraud. You're talking about are you talking about what? Wait. Which are you talking? You're talking about with regard to all of the investigations that are going on about this stupidity. What we're going to do is tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented. When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally, and there's no chance. I mean, I say it in front of our Attorney General, there's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption. The biggest thing is what they do to our country. They're taking massive amounts of money and spending it on items. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable. Okay, 3. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff. And I want to commend Elon because he's done a fantastic. He doesn't need this. You know, he's abused by you people every day. He's found more things than anybody could find. I think he's got the credibility to do it. I know he does. And it's his group of people. You know, they started off with 12. I call them 12 geniuses. They started off with 12, and they went to 20 and 25, and now they're up to almost 100. People are joining to help them because there's a massive fraud that's taken place.
Yeah, big, massive fraud. I don't know why all this stuff seems to be oddly synced right now. Donald Trump truthed this out. DOGE. Looks like radical left Reuters was paid $9 million by the Department of Defense to study, quote, large-scale social deception, end quote. Give back the money now, Trump says. Of course, large-scale deception. That's what they were doing. So again, Reuters, Politico. We'll find out many more. WAPO, I think. New York Times. Trump's digging into it. Donald Trump truthed this. DOGE. Why was Politico paid millions of dollars for nothing? Buying the press? Pay back the money to the taxpayers. How much has the failing New York Times paid? Is this money is this the money that is keeping it open? They are buying the press. That's exactly what they've been doing. Here's Maxine Waters just basically saying the truth out loud, and it's pretty damn funny.
The people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
What all they have on us. I'm sure that was just a misspeak, right? Lee Zeldin announces he's found some very, very interesting information. He's calling it, he's found the gold bars, but it looks like we found a giant slush fund that the Biden administration set up. Not 100% sure. Looks like it's used for weather stuff, the climate crap, but it's not legal, at least never been done before. It's very strange.
Hi, this is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. One of my very top priorities at EPA is to be an excellent steward of your hard-earned tax dollars. There will be zero tolerance of any waste and abuse. An extremely disturbing video circulated 2 months ago featuring a Biden EPA political appointee talking about how they were tossing gold bars off the Titanic, rushing to get billions of your tax dollars out the door before Inauguration Day. The gold bars were tax dollars, and tossing them off the Titanic meant the Biden administration knew they were wasting it. Following this revelation, during my meetings with members of Congress, I made a very important commitment to them and to the American people, which I reiterated at my confirmation hearing that if confirmed, I would immediately get a full accounting. Fortunately, my awesome team at EPA has found the gold bars. Shockingly, roughly $20 billion of your tax dollars were parked at an outside financial institution by the Biden EPA. This scheme was the first of its kind in EPA history, and it was purposefully designed to obligate all of the money in a rush job with reduced oversight. Even further, this pot of $20 billion was awarded to just 8 entities that were then responsible for doling out your money to NGOs and others at their discretion with far less transparency. Just under $7 billion was sent to one entity called the Climate United Fund. I'm sure you and I now have some of the same questions. How do these organizations decide how to allocate funding? How much money have they given out so far and to whom? Are there any former Biden EPA staffers who are now working at these entities? Let me make one thing abundantly clear. At this point, there is zero reason to suspect any wrongdoing by the bank. Here's my position as EPA administrator. The financial agent agreement with the bank needs to be instantly terminated, and the bank must immediately return all of the gold bars that the Biden administration tossed off the Titanic. EPA needs to reassume responsibility for all of these funds. We will review every penny that has gone out the door. I will be referring this matter to the Inspector General's office, and will work with the Justice Department as well. The days of irresponsibly shoveling boatloads of cash to far-left activist groups in the name of environmental justice and climate equity are over. The American public deserves a more transparent and accountable government than what transpired these past 4 years. We take our obligations under the law as seriously as it gets. I've directed my team to find your gold bars, and they found them. Now we will get them back inside of control of government as we pursue next steps. As President Trump has vowed, we are going to usher in a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Right? Super crazy. That is just like, oh my God. Then there's this. I mean, again, there's no shortage of crazy going on today. Awesome day.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. We're here today because...
Yeah, so they are now going after Kathy Hochul. Now, she, of course, had to make a statement. We'll see if we can kind of read this. So here is her retarded statement. Earlier today, Attorney General Pam Bondi marched in front of the television cameras for a dramatic media briefing to announce she was filing charges against New York State related to immigration laws. Hours later, when legal papers were shared with reporters, we learned this was a smoke and mirrors. The Department of Justice was filing a routine civil action about law passed in 2019 that has been upheld in the courts time and again. Here are the facts. Our current laws allow federal immigration officials to access any DMV database with a judicial warrant. That's a common sense approach that most New Yorkers support. But there's no way I'm letting federal agents or Elon Musk's shadowy DOGE operation get unfettered access to the personnel data of any New Yorkers in the DMV system, like 16-year-old kids learning to drive and other vulnerable people. Like they always go to hide it around the children. So again, do I trust Bondi or do I trust Hochul? Obviously Bondi. She continues, New York is proud that immigrants from across the globe came here searching for a better life. People like my grandparents who left Ireland looking for the American dream. We welcome law-abiding individuals who want to work, pay taxes, and contribute to our communities, while at the same time protecting the public safety of all New Yorkers by cracking down on violent criminals. We expect Pam Bondi's worthless publicity-driven lawsuit to be a total failure, just like all the others. Let me be clear, New York is not backing down. So, if anyone is likely going to get arrested for doing illegal stuff, it could possibly be her or potentially Ocasio-Cortez. She did something that's kind of messed up. She actually gave a webinar on her social media on Wednesday where speakers gave step-by-step instructions to migrants on how to interact with federal enforcement agents. It comes as Immigration and Customs Enforcement conducts raids in major U.S. cities known to be providing sanctuary policy protection to undocumented migrants living in their jurisdictions. Giving advice on how to break the law when you are a person from the law side of our government, right? The judicial branch, or the legislative branch. I swear I switch those two so easily. The legislative branch, you're making the laws and you're telling people how to break them. Pretty sure there's an ethics violation there. We'll get there. It's all coming, folks. It just feels so bad for this lady. If you can see her on the screen, like I laugh because the video, you have to choose a place where you start it, right? And I cut it and then I chop out the initial part. And like sometimes it's just a stupid face that I'm making, and it happens at the end too. It cracks me up. So you always try to end with a decent face, but this poor thing got stuck. This isn't really the story, but I was going to point it out anyways. Michael Madigan, former Illinois House Speaker, has been convicted on 10 corruption counts. He was acquitted on 7 others. Like, that's okay. That's good. It's kind of an interesting story. In all, Madigan was convicted on 10 counts and acquitted on 7 others, while jurors were deadlocked on 6 other counts against him. The jury also was unable to reach a unanimous verdict on all 6 charges against his co-defendant, Michael McLean. Prosecutors and defense attorneys agreed to accept the partial verdict in the case following more than 60 hours of deliberations over 11 days. Late Wednesday, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker issued a statement on the verdict. The Madigan verdict by a jury of everyday Illinoisans is an important message to anyone in government or those thinking about public service. That if you choose corruption, you will be found out and you will be punished. Madigan, 82, and McLean faced a 23-count indictment in federal court in Chicago on charges of racketeering conspiracy, bribery, wire fraud, and attempted extortion. This is what they were actually indicted on. They were caused of conspiring with utility companies ComEd and AT&T to provide no-show jobs to Madigan's allies in exchange for the Speaker's help on legislation. Prosecutors also accused Madigan of pressuring real estate developers to hire his private law firm, which specializes in property tax appeals. Following 11 weeks of testimony, jurors convicted Madigan on 1 count of bribery conspiracy involving ComEd, 2 counts of bribery involving ComEd, and 3 counts of wire fraud related to an effort to secure a state board seat for a disgraced former, ALD Denny Solis? I'm not sure what the ALD is supposed to stand for. And 4 counts of using interstate commerce to facilitate bribery. I so very much look forward to the emails that will ensue. Brandon Johnson is suggesting he will fire employees in Chicago's mayor's office. Now, this is what's interesting to me is we've got this obvious corruption thing that's happening in Chicago. And now we've got the Chicago mayor coming out and saying, I'm definitely going to be firing some people. Right after Kathy Hochul seems to be going to war with Pam Bondi, but also at the same time where Trump and everybody's coming out about all of the waste and salacious spending. One's got to wonder if some of these mayors in cities that are maybe deep blue, Eric Adams is the other one I'm thinking of. He's definitely coming our way. And I don't know what's up with Brandon Johnson, but we'll see. We'll see. But there are some interesting cities that seem to be having some change of hearts, maybe? We'll see. I don't know. I mean, we still look at stuff like L.A., Los Angeles, definitely not. That chick Balls, what's her name? I'm forgetting her real name. But she's not going to survive this. I think she's going to get impeached or never get brought in again. But whether or not we replace her with someone better, that'll depend on whether or not we actually have fair elections here, which at the moment I don't believe we do. Whatever. Donald Trump fires Biden-appointed U.S. attorneys across the spectrum. He has not coordinated the firings with the Justice Department offices that oversee federal prosecutors, leading to some confusion and uncertainty. In addition, by removing remaining Biden appointees, Trump is paving the way for new emphasis within the prosecution system, such as the removal of illegal immigrants. He's essentially finding people that are going to help prosecute the stuff that needs to be prosecuted, help do it quickly, help get these people pushed out, and follow the laws, which is really what's going on. So we don't need to go into the big, long Newsweek article. I think that covers the majority of it. Again, things are going to get crazy. We've got a number of the big one I keep thinking about is China-Taiwan. Giant question mark. We keep doing things that are kind of meant to sort of spur a little bit of a crazy reaction on China. Also, we're kicked China out of the Panama Canal. So that's going to probably go in a funky way. We'll see. Trump is very strong, and how they manage the Taiwan situation is going to be a big, big question mark. And depending on how that happens, will affect the stock market. Got things like NVIDIA that took that big hit because of that AI thing, which, by the way, was China stealing our intellectual property. That's why it, quote unquote, didn't cost that much. They stole a lot of the technology and then didn't have to do much but just tweak it. And now, boom, it's 500,000 or 5 million or whatever it was, and it's way better. Well, yeah, you took something that cost millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, and stole it and then improved. Depending on how things play out, it's going to affect the stock market most likely. Again, we've got a lot of uncertainty in the world. There are a lot of things that Trump is definitely going to fix or be a part of the solutions too. But how this plays out is definitely a big, scary thing. So here's the thing. Stock market, it's definitely sitting really, really high. We've got a lot of crazy stuff. DEI is being kicked out of stuff. We've got funding that's being removed because of the USAID and other stuff. And think about Pentagon waste and stuff like that. When we get to that point, there's going to be a lot of companies that are going to get caught up in this. One thing you can do is you can protect the wealth. You got this 401k and these IRAs. You've been spending years pumping money into it, and you don't necessarily want to get rid of it, right? You got an employer that's matching you. Awesome. Keep it going. Don't stop. But think about diversifying a chunk of that into precious metals. One, it's safe. That's good. Two, it's actually performing incredibly well, but it protects you. Because no matter what happens, the rise and fall of the economy, if everything gets better and great, they've got the highest price buyback guarantee. My good friends at Goldco, they don't believe all the crazy crap I talk about, but they're the best company at doing this, hands down. Best customer service, highest price buyback guarantee. They want to help you get out of this situation or at least protect as much of your wealth as possible. Now, if you've got a qualifying IRA or 401k, you don't actually have to fill out this form. You go to the regular site, sufficient, 4 data points, and it's the same points, by the way. Click the button here, click this button here, and then within a short period of time, like seconds, it's going to do this pop-up, and it's going to give you like 20 minutes to call a phone number. So if you're going to do this, I recommend you do it where you've got time to make a quick phone call and talk to them, one, because they're going to give you that Ronald Reagan coin at that point. They're going to get all that stuff taken care of. You're going to get your wealth protection kit. You're going to get this cool Trump book, Trump and Your Financial Future. It's a very good book, by the way. It's got a lot of really great stuff in there. 4 ways President Trump may impact your retirement savings. All right, there's some IRS loophole stuff in there. A lot of good stuff. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system. They seriously don't like you. The deep state is a slash and burn kind of thing. They keep doing that to the best of their abilities. And we're seeing them, and they're drying up, and they're losing power. At some point, we hope we've got this contained, right? And we carefully fell the tree, as they would say, or we carefully implode the building, the structure, so it falls on its own footprint and doesn't necessarily cause damage around us. We don't know for sure how good this is going to go, right? So what you want to do is protect yourself. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system. At least diversify out of it. At least a chunk of it before they impact you in a way that you won't be able to necessarily make up. It's drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Biden's White House collaborated from the start on Trump's documents probe. Emails show. I kind of feel like we talked about this a long-ass time ago. We even had the extra parts of it that talked about how they removed Trump's clearance, apparently, right? So then all of a sudden, now he's got anything classified at all is now illegal, when he had clearance, it wouldn't have been a problem. And, of course, Biden was behind that. He worked with the National Archives. National Archives is like, well, I think he's got some stuff that's probably classified. Based off of what we understand, it's minor, but it's got classified stamped on it or whatever. And so that's how that ball started rolling. Well, it seems now they're pointing out one of the emails that was floating around. House Counsel Jonathan Sue, he took a phone call with the National Archives and Records Administration officials to discuss the missing boxes allegedly retained illicitly by Trump. So much in there. Who wrote this? Oh, just the news. They had to have borrowed this from someone. Anyway, whatever. So again, they were working with Biden's administration, and I guess now we've got some actual evidence of that. Again, we're going to continue to see these things move forward. It's going to be a lot of fun. This was just, I don't know. I feel like this is kind of one of those traps. This is obviously, I'm going to say it, a DEI hire. And again, maybe he's very capable. I know there's a lot of stuff they've been able to do with, translating documents to voice. But if you're actually the head of, you're an inspectors general, which I think is what this dude is. If you're an inspectors general and you're actually inspecting things and you're blind, I'm not trying to be a dick, but you obviously don't see everything that's going on. You just don't. There's no way you do. Not everything's going to get converted. You got a hunch about a document? What are you going to convert that to Braille so you can read it, or have some sort of program read it back to you? Sure, but that takes forever. Average speaking is significantly slower than what a lot of people read at, or at least somebody that should be capable. You should be able to read way faster than you talk. Way faster. So this is weird, but
President Trump did coming into office was to fire 17 agency inspectors general. What can you tell us from POGO's standpoint? What does that do to our ability to identify and root out waste, fraud, and abuse?
Thank you, Congressman. I would say, to put it simply, it completely undermines our ability to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. Inspector General exists for essentially one purpose, and they were originally created in the immediate aftermath of Watergate, and I think you all probably do not need me to give you a history lesson at all on what happened in the Watergate era. There's a reason they were created at that time, because there was a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse happening, and there were not cops on the beat that were internal, that were independent, that were situated in agencies to be able to find these things and expose them and do something about them. That's what Inspector General exists to do. So it's completely anathema to, I'd say anathema to any stated mission to find cost savings and to root out waste, fraud, and abuse, to fire Inspector General and to undermine them. It makes no sense. Those two things do not add up.
Thank you very much.
And let's just be super honest. I mean,
General and to undermine them.
His future might be so bright he needs to wear shades. That could be. I don't know he's blind. The comment of Pogo certainly made me chuckle a little bit on the inside, because I don't know why Pogo stick has popped into my head, and then I thought stick, and I'm like, the blind person stick. I know that's not what he was saying, but that's where my, is it racist? What am I now? Just hating on people that have disabilities? When a disabilityist? I forget what the word is that I'm portraying right now. Whatever. It really doesn't bother me. I mean, again, my heart goes out. My very good friend of mine is paralyzed. Like, it's horrible from the armpits down. Like, the dude is, like, it's unfortunate. It's just super unfortunate. So again, but again, my blind friend, it's kind of like the Eddie Murphy joke goes, was it Stevie Wonder? If you want to impress me, take the wheel. And so again, not all jobs are appropriate for all people given their sets of circumstances. Again, do you want like a Navy SEAL that's going in and kicking down doors and possibly taking someone hand-to-hand combat? Could be a full-grown man, maybe somebody that's 300-plus pounds. Do you want some little petite, 5-foot-tall, beautiful young lady doing that? She might be super capable, might be an excellent shot from 100,000 miles. She can hit whatever she wants. Okay. But one-on-one physical combat against somebody of that size, if they're even remotely trained, might not go the same. So again, not all things are necessarily equal. Again, it's just the way the world works. There's a lot of things that women are significantly better at than men, unquestionably. First off, remembering all of the mistakes men make. They are fabulous at that. Way better at men. We can't remember shit. Yesterday was like, what did I say to you, honey? What? Really? Happy Valentine's Day, right? Like, where do we even go from here? So right now we got the deep state in Congress, the ones that are left, pushing reparations, racism, because they really don't have much else to go with. So let's just start going down the reparations road.
Our government, no matter who is in power, has an obligation to right these wrongs, to provide reparations for descendants of enslaved Africans, to eliminate the racial wealth gap, to uplift the black community. White supremacy is rampant in this country. Just look at the current administration and our own legislative body. They have contributed to the social and economic harms, to racial terror black folks have experienced in this country. Now, more than ever, we must acknowledge and repair those harms.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth. It's only because of Baldy up here. Sorry. And I know, once again, insensitive. I know. I'm just such a dick today. In a mood. I'm in a mood. What am I going to do, right? I don't know. House Dems reintroduce reparations legislation. We refuse to be silent. All right. Can you go sit over there and hang tight? Fill out this form. Then we'll talk to you later. Because that's not telling you to be quiet. That's just making you silent. But whatever. Ayanna Presley, thank you for being a part of this experience with all of us. We got Cory Booker T. Washington going on in there, doing his thing. Right? There she is. Oh, cutie. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. I know it's not the same person, too, by the way. Just saying. Ha 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 ha, they say. Here we go again. Senator White House Democrat says we need to prepare for Trump-Russia 2.0. Yes, they're literally going down the Trump-Russia collusion path again. You almost got to love it at this point. Oh, hang on. And if you don't love it, you're racist.
The last thing I'll say is I think we need to begin to prepare ourselves for Trump-Russia 2.0. The Trump-Russia thing was, I'm not going to go back all over it, fully ventilated in the Senate Bipartisan Intelligence Report, in the Mueller report. Trump-Russia was a thing. We stopped talking about it, but Trump kept talking about it and saying it was a hoax. Trump-Russia hoax, Trump-Russia hoax. No, it was not a hoax. It was real. It was there. There's a record. Part of it was bipartisan work. Some of it was done in the House. There was an abundance of evidence about the Trump-Russia connection. The last thing I'll say is,
I like records. Records are good. I'm not had to have the camera on. I like records. Anyway, not just felt appropriate. Again, you're racist. Just to remind you. But yes, Russia. Of course, John Bolton is now coming out and saying Trump has surrendered to Putin. I'm not going to play this because, well, it's 21 seconds. Oh, what the hell? It's going to piss both of us, all of us. Well, both of us. Theoretically, it's just you and me right now. There might be other people involved, but it's you and me right now.
You believe Putin sees Trump as what you described as an easy mark. You were there for their first meeting in Helsinki. What are your expectations for this one?
Well, I don't have any expectations anymore. I think we know exactly what's going to happen. President Trump has effectively surrendered to Putin before the negotiations have even begun.
You believe...
Wait a minute. Why do I not remember your voice being that high? Are you taking hormone therapy too? Is the mustache just so you look manly? Because it's not really a good look for you. I mean, whatever. I don't know what's going on these days. That's for sure. These people, crazy. 25-year-old associate of Elon Musk. This is so funny. This is the next story they're pushing right now. And I'm going to try my best to help explain to you how this is stupid as hell. So right now they're blaming Elon Musk's former Treasury Department employee. I think this is Big Balls specifically. He was mistakenly given too much access. So there's a thing called read-write, right? Read-write access. And that's really what happened. Instead of just read-only, which means I can pull data from the database, but I can't change it. For you data geeks, SQL writers, it's just a select statement versus an update statement. That's when you can write back, or you can do an insert statement and actually insert records. Well, before this dude was ever able to get involved, to log in, to actually start pulling data, they fixed it, but at first, the people at the Treasury mistakenly gave him wrong access. This isn't Musk's fault. This isn't Musk's people's fault. This is ineptitude from the Treasury. And yet, the way the story's being played out, I think it was put out by ABC, the way the story's being played is that somehow Musk did something wrong. You gave me the access. I asked for read only. You gave me read write. That's not cool. Typically, they call it CRUD. That's what we refer to it. Create, read, update, delete. Those are really the 4 keys when it comes to data, and they call it CRUD, C-R-U-D. So it's just maybe something fun for all you guys. Whatever the case was, it's the Treasury's fault for giving him the wrong access. It's not DOGE's fault in any way, shape, or form. They don't have control of that. Marjorie Taylor Greene shares what's coming next on the House panel. She's already planning future hearings. She told reporters after her subcommittee's first public event, which was decent at best, and again, not ripping, but whatever. It's keeping her busy, and she's looking into some really cool stuff, and they're doing these hearings. I feel like Musk is doing significantly more useful stuff when it comes to what's actually happening, but she's asking questions, so she's interviewing people and whatnot. But Musk has targeted NPR and USAID since leading President Donald Trump's DOGE. And Marjorie Taylor Greene said, quote, "We're working on filling the calendar with many more important issues, departments, government programs that the American people deserve direct, hard transparency into, and then we're going to be coming up with solutions." Now, somebody asked her, are you going to bring in Musk? Because that's what everybody on the Democrat side wants you to do. They didn't say all that. I'm adding letters to it, if you will. But they were like, are you going to bring in Musk? And she's like, I think the Democrats want Elon Musk in front of the committee so they can berate him, attack him, and harass him. Right now, President Trump, myself, and many others really want Elon Musk to stay focused on what he's doing, and that is rooting out the waste, fraud, and abuse that has continued on for years within the federal government agencies. Marjorie Taylor Greene, thank you, sweetheart. You're doing a wonderful job. You pissed me off one time way back when, but you've done a really good job. Massey, I'm waiting for you to finally get back on board, get back on the train, my friend. Now, the Dems are definitely freaking out. This is kind of a fun little example. It's a little longer than I typically like to give these bastards, but it's worth it.
I want to hear why, but do you think that calling Elon Musk a dick is effective messaging for confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government?
Well, he is a dick. And I think that he's also harming the American public in an enormous way. And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country. And it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about having decorum, about bipartisanship. This is the person that lies more than anybody else in the entire Congress. And so if she is going to make a mockery of hearings, I want to make sure that us as Democrats are bringing that same level of energy. And of course, after those comments, we went into exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do: dismantling the Department of Labor, dismantling the Department of Education, dismantling all of our consumer protection agencies. And so it's all important, but it's also important to get the attention of the American public and call Elon Musk out for what he is, and to make people know that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a serious legislator, and she shouldn't be treated as such.
We're going to dismantle your eyebrows, is what we're going to do. They're going to get dismantled. They're freaking out. And again, what's funny, you got to love the Senate, right? Like, the Senate's very like, the decorum. Isn't my colleague across the aisle over there that just said something douchey? Well, my general colleague, who I love and adore, is a douchehole, right? Like, they're very like cool about it. In the House, they're just like, yeah, no, they're like just seconds away from coming in with elbows, you know? It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. My money's on Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'll bet you money she could kick your ass home, dog. And that's going to be a tough one to live down. I'll be honest. That's going to be a tough one to live down. And not that it's because men are better than women or anything crazy like that. It's just, yeah, you get your ass kicked by a woman as a man, you got a tough go ahead of you, man. It's just not going to go well. Judge allows federal worker buyout plan to proceed, and Trump administration announces it's closed. So they are going to continue with the buyout plan. Trump has talked about this. There's a lot of people that are signing up. They're expecting almost 200,000, which that's actually a good chunk out of 3 million. 200 grand out. Big time. And it's going to, again, cost us some money up front. We're going to have to pay their salary for an extended period of time when they're not actually doing anything. But were they actually doing anything? And then it's off the books. It's thinned, it's reduced. We can actually sell some of these properties and start to condense departments. Treasury doesn't need their own building. U.S. Department of whatever, such and such, doesn't need their own building. We can put a bunch of these guys into a federal building, all right? Only 4 of you are working in the office anyway. Then you guys are going to get this small little section on the 5th floor off on the, you're going to make a right when you get out of the elevator. You're going to go down way up the end of the hall, make a left. Then you're going to go down about 15 more miles and then make a right. There's your office where 4 of you work. I expect you there every day. You might want to get like a skateboard or something for the hallway because it's going to suck walking 14 miles or however far I said it was. Not that big of buildings, but whatever. They're costing us a fortune. Senator Hawley says if you think fraud and corruption at USAID is bad, just wait until we find out about how the money's been spent at Ukraine. I say just wait until we actually sort of can dig into the Pentagon. Now, that's going to be different because we're not going to be allowed to know a bunch of that. A bunch of that stuff's black projects. So we don't know, and we won't know, but the numbers will be huge. Anyway, Ukraine, big numbers too, but just nothing even close to like Pentagon, slight defense spending, huge.
Do you think that America should in some way be reimbursed? If knowing Trump, he's going to try to figure out a way for the American taxpayer to recoup some of the money blown in Ukraine, whether it's some energy situation or deal with Russia or Ukraine or maybe together. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what ends up happening.
You know what else needs to happen is we need an accounting of every single tax dollar that's been spent over there. Because remember, right now we have zero because Congress never would vote for an audit of the money. And the White House, the Biden White House, never would do one. We need to know exactly how this money has been spent all these years. And if you think USAID is a corrupt thing, just wait till we see how our money has been spent. We need to know it, and I'm glad the president is going to bring this to a close.
Move over, Bacon. Now we got sizzling. I don't remember how that commercial went. Remember that? Move over, Bacon. There's something leaner or some weird thing. Do you guys remember sizzling? That was oddly good. I don't know why it was one of the... I mean, it wasn't bacon, but it was oddly good. I don't know, whatever. I don't know why I thought of that. Move over, Bacon. There's something meatier. That's what it was. Something meatier. There's less fat. Still shriveled up like a mofo. X reaches $10 million settlement with Trump over prior suspension of his Twitter account. So it's CBS is putting this out like, Trump and Musk are fighting. And I think they're going to spin that story. Then it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I love it. And then Trump has publicly talked about how, I'm totally cool with what Musk is doing. And here's Musk spending Twitter dollars to take care of where Trump is literally wrong. So they reached a settlement, $10 million. That's fair. Trump's chunk of money. I don't know what he's going to do with it. Buy a golf course or something. Who knows? Maybe design one. I don't know. In $10 million nowadays, I mean, really, you could barely buy a pack of gum with it, right? I mean, it's not even anything because of inflation. Senator Blackburn reiterates that cash is going to expose who built out Jeffrey Epstein's international sex trafficking ring. There's so Glenn Beck talked about how 10 days from yesterday or the day before, whatever the case is, we're like good solid couple days into it ish, a day maybe, whatever. 8-9 days, we're going to find out who's on the Epstein list. This is what they say, that Kash Patel is going to release it the first day he's in office. And this is quote unquote why everybody's so nervous that Kash Patel is going in there. Now, Blackburn's talking about it, but nobody... I think people are putting words into Kash's mouth. I think Kash is going to release it. I think he said he's going to release it. I think he's even said he's going to release it day one. Trump said within 24 hours he'd give us an answer on the drones. That took a week. So, I mean, I'm going to give the guy a couple days to hand on some more important things. Not that this isn't important, but he's got a whole bunch of bastards that need to be fired and right? Like, fix that or start that process and tell me about it, and then I want you to tell me the Epstein list. Like, I totally want to know. And I'll wait a couple extra days to make sure you've had a chance to take care of some of the other shit that matters way more. But Senator Blackburn seems to have some thoughts about all this.
So I'm so pleased that we're moving forward with him today. I'm also pleased, Mr. Chairman, that he is going to work with me to make certain we know who all was involved with Jeffrey Epstein in building out this international sex trafficking ring. This is information we have sought. It is information we have not been able to get. And as the next FBI director, I have no doubt that he is going to work with us to end this scourge of human and sex trafficking in the United States. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That's the hope anyways, right? So, yeah. Kash Patel has advanced from the Senate Judiciary Committee. He now heads to the Senate for a full vote. Uh-oh. 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 Right? Like, I feel like almost like the Bee Gees song, right? The one with from Saturday Night Fever. You know the way I walk, I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. Right? Like, I feel like he should be doing that, like, dance, like that walk. It's a walk dance. I don't know what it is. It's like, you like use your hips too much when you're a dude. Like that. But John Travolta made it look kind of cool without making it look gay. You know? I don't know. He crossed that border in a weird sort of way. Comer and Lee, they roll out a bicameral bill to fast-track Trump's government reorganization plans through Congress. Yes, it's a dromedary. That's for people that understand what camels are. Cameral is not the same word. I know, but it seemed funny to me. Yes, attorneys shut down. Wait, hang on. House Oversight Committee James Comer and Senator Mike Lee are introducing bicameral legislation Thursday that would fast-track President Donald Trump's federal government's reorganization plans through Congress. They're going to, I guess, introduce this Reorganizing Government Act of 2025 in the House Thursday. Legislation would ensure Congress takes an up or down vote on the plan submitted to Congress in order to streamlining government operations to better serve the American people. I wonder how they're going to do that in a bill, because they might realize in the Senate they're going to have to try to pass more than one thing. And maybe that's going to be tough. We'll see how that plays out. Donald Trump truthed this out. 3 great weeks, perhaps the best ever. But today is the big one. Reciprocal tariffs. Make America great again. Yeah, he's going to be doing some tariffs on Canada fighting us. It was very funny. That's actually going to really hurt Canada. China's definitely fighting us. That's part of, I think, the real war. It's going to be an economic war with China. China's the second, maybe first largest economy. Depends how you look at it. We will be changing that. That is a big part of what's going to be happening, that's for sure. Coast Guard left sensitive data vulnerable to adversaries under Trump fired DEI-focused commandant. Right? So, yeah, this person apparently the Coast Guard supposedly had some servers. It sounds like 3 different systems they're speaking about in here that were vulnerable to foreign adversaries and hackers in a cybersecurity blunder. Again, they're playing it up real bad, and they're pinning it on the DEI hire that they just fired of the Coast Guard. And I'm not saying that's not the problem. That could very well be. Right? You hired somebody because they fit your DEI thing, not necessarily the best person for the job, that maybe would have done a better job with this problem. Whatever the case is. I mean, again, it's going to get fixed. At least they're talking about how we were vulnerable for a few days, though. It's not good. Massive AI Stargate project under Trump admin reveals next steps. So OpenAI says that's not, is it? Stargate, massive artificial intelligence infrastructure project. Yeah, so they're starting to build this out in Texas. This is what many suspected was the plant that Musk was building, and probably why he's directly involved in a lot of the stuff that's going on. He's building out this Tesla facility, or this what a giga facility, or whatever the hell he was calling it. And that's really around being able to power the actual AI. Many suspected it was to power the AI for the Teslas and for maybe Grok. Most likely, this is actually meant to power much more than that, or at least maybe even a lot of the military type stuff. So we'll see if we can, figure anything out, big picture, once we get closer to that. But the ball's rolling, unquestionably. A U.S. Navy EA-18G Growler It's an electronic warfare aircraft. It's basically an FA-18 with a bunch of electronic warfare stuff on it. It crashed out by San Diego. Both people ejected safely from it. Don't know what happened. These aren't necessarily as hackable per se. They might be, but I don't think they are, as much like the F-22 and the F-35. Hopefully those are being fixed or already hardened. I don't think this was something like that, but whatever the case was, obviously they had a problem with the aircraft and they had to ditch it. That's a bummer for sure. NIH Principal Deputy Director who led the agency during COVID resigns abruptly. So weird. Dr. Lawrence Tabak. He was passed over by Trump to serve as the NIH acting director, despite being second in command there. Bye-bye. Yeah, he's not gonna get promoted. This is probably more of a thing like, I'll fire you or you can quit. Take your pick. And so whatever the case was, but Tabak 73 has been in the NIH for 25 years. He is also serving during transitional period as acting director, including during the COVID era when he was regularly grilled by Republicans, along with Fauci. This is the guy. Really, 73? You look pretty good, buddy. You look pretty good for 73. I'm going to give you some points on that one. What is going to help you feel better and look better and act better? Yeah, it's going to be sleep. Sleep really does make a giant difference when it comes down to it. MyPillow.com/OTF. That's a very brilliant way to go about it. We got some free shipping happening over $75. I've heard it's better than that, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. They haven't updated the site, so let's just assume you got to buy $75 worth of stuff. These towels are incredible. First off, they've also got the My Cross if you want something very groovy like that. And it's actually cross-shaped. It's not a plus. They've got like a white with a blackish outline, and then they've got the black one with the silver outline-ish, if you will. They've got two different versions. Then they got men and women. I assume that's just the length of the chain is the difference. I don't know. They seem like they look similar. So I'm assuming it just might be length of chain because a woman's, smaller necks and all that stuff. Whatever. We've got classic collection going on, and their classic pillow. This is the thing that I love. This is my favorite pillow. I'm just glad it's on my webpage. I'm glad I'm able to show this. This is the best pillow ever made. 2.0 is nice. I wish they could put that coating on this pillow. If they could do that, and that's the 3.0, then you've nailed it, Mike. You've finally made the best pillow that's possible. Because the cooling thing on the 2.0 is rad. It's super cool. I love it. So if you're not anal about your pillow, like you're like, yeah, hotel pillows don't bother you, dude, get the 2.0. The 2.0 is rad. It's rad from that standpoint. If you're somebody that's super anal about your pillow and you're like, I don't know, I bring my own pillow with me when I go places, get this original one. Trust me, you're going to dig it. It's awesome, and it's super cheap. Again, the towels are the best you'll ever see. Their sheets are incredible, amazing patterns and colors and all that stuff, but they've got the super deep pockets, too. They build the sheets because they know they sell toppers. So you may not have a topper. You should check into getting one if you've got an older mattress. But they build it so, you can fit a topper in there, too. Right? So these sheets have really, really deep pockets. They're super nice. Their sheets are the towels they use for the kitchen are incredible. They've got the percale sheets, which again, I think are just mostly different patterns and slightly different materials, right? They got the cotton ones for the normal. They've got flannel. I think the percale or the cotton. These are the dish towels for the sink or for the kitchen. Incredible. They've got awesome slippers. These slippers are very, very comfortable. They got the ones you can just jump into that don't even have like a heel, or they've got the standard ones that you can wear these outside. They have like a rubber sole. I think there's like 7 layers or some crazy thing, but they're stitched around the side. It's a really durable slipper. It's an awesome slipper. You can very easily wear this down to Starbucks in the morning when you're getting that coffee, right? Just walk right in with your slippers. Life is groovy. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. 50% off on coffee. Is really good coffee that you can just drink every day. You're going to save a ton of money and help the channel. And, of course, dog beds. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. We're watching history unfold, and that's unquestionable at this point in time. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is talking about what's going on in the Oval Office as of late.
Well, just very quickly, Sean, today in the Oval Office, I mean, it was literally being a part of history as President Trump spoke with Vladimir Putin and then spoke with Zelensky, and both of them said they are ready to end this war, and they could only do it with President Trump's leadership. I mean, just think about that for a second. This is a war that should have never started, would have been deterred under President Trump's leadership. Putin invaded a neighbor under Bush, under Obama, and under Biden, but not under President Trump first term, and he's ready to end it in President Trump's second term. That just happened today. You have Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent in Kyiv, negotiating for equity in Ukraine's resources so that the American people can be recouped the billions of dollars. You have the VP, you have Secretary of State immediately getting into negotiations. And in the Middle East, I think Hamas caves. They will cave by this Saturday because they know President Trump means it when he says there's all hell to pay.
And this is kind of the beautiful thing about what Trump is doing when it comes to Russia, Ukraine as well, because he's like, all right, Ukraine, from now on, if there's any sort of assistance that's coming, you need to give mineral rights to us for a bunch of stuff and for the stuff you've already bought from us. And they're like, all right. And then it's kind of under the whole, auspice to him. It's like, yeah, so we'll give you more stuff if you pay for it that way. Now, of course, it's not going to happen quick enough that they can give us this stuff. So what this is really about is making sure they pay us back. And then now he's negotiating ceasefires where he's likely going to give up territory for them. Russia is going to keep what they've got. Ukraine likely not going to. UK and US refused to sign the International AI Declaration. This is the one where AI needs to be equitable, basically DEI. That the UK and the US are supposed to sign this thing that any AI development we do is going to be DEI friendly. And no, because China's not doing that. So UK and US are like, sorry, not going to happen. Not in this lifetime. Thank you, EU. Did we mention suck it? Because we should have. That's what should have happened. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, along with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, they got some words to share with us. Check it out.
Good morning. It is a real pleasure to welcome Pete Hegseth again today to NATO. We had a wonderful dinner last night. We discussed a lot of things. Obviously, defense spending. Clearly, we have to do more. We have to ramp up defense spending because we know we cannot protect ourselves 4 or 5 years from now if we don't. And also, we need to ramp up defense spending because it is clear that the US rightly requires us to do more here on the European side and the Canadian side of NATO. It's only fair, it's only sensible. We also will discuss defense industrial production because we simply do not produce enough. This is including the US and up to and including Turkey and everything in between. We need to really get more output from our huge defense industrial base to keep up with Russia, the Chinese and others. And then during the lunch we will of course discuss Ukraine. What happened yesterday, of course, here in the meeting and also coming out of the White House will lead to debate. But there is a clear convergence emerging, and I'm very happy about that. And the convergence is, 1, we need peace in Ukraine. 2, we have to make sure that Ukraine is in a position of strength. And 3, as you, Pete, said yesterday, we can never, ever, ever again have a Minsk III situation where a peace is not durable. So collectively we'll work on that. We will discuss this amongst allies. I look forward to that. Pete, again, welcome to NATO. Welcome on board.
Yeah, welcome to your face. I hope we get you some better suits, man, or at least something that's tailored better. And it's probably just because you've gotten so buff in the shoulders from working out with the troops. 100% sure of that. But, yeah, we just need to do a little better. Germany's leftist Chancellor Scholz is calling on Parliament to impose a state of emergency due to the events of the last 24 hours and the statements made by the U.S. government regarding Ukraine. Essentially, they got to pay more money to get protection. You want to play? You want to be protected by NATO? You need to pay more. And so he says the only way we can do that is to declare an emergency, and that's the only way we're allowed to break our debt break, they call it, like their debt level. They're trying to stop their out of control debt too. And again, remember, Germany was the main economy for the EU. Them and England, but England's like, we don't really want to be a part of this. And Germany just got hosed. Like, it's been brutal. France, too, I should say. And that's why those two countries are in just total disarray. And France is talking about forcing retirement age to be older and stuff like that because they're screwed. Because they agree with all this European nonsense. So, yeah, Trump is fixing what the deep state broke, unquestionably. We've got a horrible situation that happened in Germany, too. I believe this was yesterday, but, you know, the UTC time, I don't know. For all of us, it's a little off, but 8 to 10 hours, whatever it might be for you. And depending, you could be in Hawaii where it's like hell, I don't know. But yeah, Afghan struck a bunch of pedestrians. They went driving down, 24-year-old Afghan guy. And again, this is not cool. The video just kind of shows just stuff strewn from all the people that got hit. It's pretty tragic. Pretty effed up. Yeah, this guy just went barreling into people. That's obviously something the left loves to do. President Trump just tweeted or truthed this out. President Donald J. Trump was just unanimously elected chairman of the board of the prestigious Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. The president stated it is a great honor to be the chairman of the Kennedy Center, especially with its amazing board of trustees. We will make the Kennedy Center a very special and exciting place. I'm not sure if he snapped. He probably should have, I feel like. President Modi? Prime Minister Modi? What is he? Indian Prime Minister, yeah, Prime Minister Modi. He is set to meet Musk for possible Starlink talks during the U.S. trip, sources say. Now, I kind of feel like these two stories are like two of them that are going to spark the deep state into, you know, news stories about this is corruption, whatever. I don't know. Musk would have talked to this dude anyway when he was in the States, probably. But the fact that he's hanging out with Trump obviously makes it look funny. And now Trump is obviously the chairman of the board of the Kennedy Center, and everybody's just going to, whatever. Anyway, I'm just, sharing it. American B-52 heavy bombers arrive in the UK as tensions heat up in the Middle East. These guys have extreme range. They can fly, first off, just thousands of miles. They're very awesome. They also hold a crap ton of stuff, and you can literally line up a bunch of Tomahawk cruise missiles and whatnot on the wings, at least I think on the inner pylons. I believe there's another set that comes into this next between the two engines. Maybe even further out. But you can put a crap ton of weapons on this that have an extreme standoff range. So the fact that we've sent, I believe, two of these to Royal Air Force Base shows the rest of the world we're bringing some major firepower to the arena near you. And this is going to be a little sketchy for a lot of these people. U.S. aircraft carrier apparently collides with a merchant vessel near Egypt's port. This is being investigated. It didn't hurt the aircraft carrier. Mostly everything's working on it. I think it probably got some scratches or whatever. Aircraft carriers are extraordinarily resilient. They've got double hulls and all this crazy crap. So some small little thing collided with it, a merchant ship, which could have been decent size, probably intentional. And that's what they're looking into. Whatever the case is, catapults work. It's able to land. It's able to bring in, launch and retrieve aircraft. It seems everything's working fine on it. I don't know. Yeah, they probably just want to check it out and just make sure nothing crazy's going on. They're not being, I think, fully honest with us, but they said, nah, it wasn't really injured. Whatever. Russian troops are being targeted in an Israeli-style pager bomb plot. I don't think they were able to make as much. This is kind of a bad move, almost, really, because the way these things are used, they're not used like the pagers. The pager was brilliant because everyone was wearing it at the same time, pretty much, with the exception of a few people that were very lucky because God loves them. The rest of them, no, not so much. They all blew up. Boom. This is the headset that you put on, the thing that goes across your eyes, which is freaking brutal. If that's what blows up, and that's a. I mean, you die quick, so it'd be cool. I mean, I guess you wouldn't even know what happened, but yeah, these goggles, somebody at least was blown up by them. It seems Russia's probably looked into it and realized, crap, can't use those guys. But it does look like the deep state tried something interesting that didn't necessarily work. Donald J. Trump truthed this out. Great talks with Russia and Ukraine yesterday. Good possibility of ending that horrible, very bloody war. Fantastic. Moscow exchange abruptly halts trading as technical issues surge in Russia. This Newsweek article blames it on the computer chip issue that Russia faces because they can't make their own chips and they've been blocked from buying them from all over the place. They're now working on making their own chips locally. As interestingly, so are we. Computer chips were going to be the way they controlled everybody else, really. You're not going to be able to have these chips unless... And that's really Taiwan. It was the place that was making them. That's why China needed Taiwan. Taiwan is kind of this weird thing. And that's diversifying out as well. So hopefully making the world safer, without a doubt. Richard Grenell, he was. Oh, this should have been pulled over with the Kennedy story with Trump. But yeah, he was briefed by the CFO of the Kennedy Center and the financial situation over there. Apparently, they're out of cash. They got raped essentially from the previous board members or whatever. Drained all the money off. They had zero reserves. So I don't know. Grenell's calling it out. I wanted to say, is it accident that the guy that's kind of in charge of the Kennedy Center and making sure it gets good happens to be like Richard Grenell, who happens to be gay? I mean, is it because he's gay? Not saying that's true or not true, but I will say most of the gay people I know would be way better at running a theater than, say, the straight people I know. In most cases, hands down. Again, certain people are good at certain jobs. Some people aren't good at certain jobs. It's funny how that works. Super Nana News posted this. The president has met his burden of establishing jurisdiction to proceed with his asserted claims that the non-resident defendants acted with actual malice or reckless disregard for the truth by knowingly conspiring with the Florida resident defendant to defame the president. Therefore, the trial court correctly denied the non-resident defendant's motion to dismiss the president's claims over the asserted publication of defamatory fake news. This has to do with the Pulitzer Prize and their board over the fact that they gave Pulitzers and kept those out there for stories that were debunked, literally. So he's essentially kind of won his case, it sounds like. That's going to be bad for the bad guys there, right? And finally, Musk lawyers say he'll drop bid for OpenAI if it gives up its for-profit plan. I don't know exactly what's up with this, but Elon Musk's going to withdraw his $97.4 billion bid because obviously Sam Altman, there it is, Altman. Let's try that word. He's like, no. And then he offered to buy Twitter for like $9.4 billion or something crazy. So he's trying to negotiate this. I don't know whether Musk has a leg to stand on. He's always said he won't do lawsuits unless he believes he's in the right, no matter how much it costs. I feel like he does feel like he's in the right. He also was involved in opening this or creating this company. So I think he's got some love on it, kind of maybe like he does with PayPal and other stuff too. We'll see how it all continues to play out, but it will be powerful. I want to remind you guys, of course, of our great merch stuff. Go to truththread.shop. Truththread.shop. A whole lot of great stuff in here. You got the Dan Radio Style. You got the DRS, the hat, right? Mugs and everything. We've got 3 different kinds of shirts. You got sweatshirt. You got the baseball shirts. You've got the long sleeve, the tank top, and just the tees, right? So of the many different kinds of shirts we've got, you can pretty much get them printed on all that stuff. That is, I was distracted by her. Anyway, yeah, it's funny how that works. So we've got that one, the Dan Radio Style stuff, of course. We've also got the 9/11 shirts. You should click on them because there's stuff on the back as well. We've got the 6/11 shirts. The Ephesians 6/11, and that was when Trump, of course, got shot. Fight, all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then we've also got the 5G warfare stuff. So click on the pictures. It shows the back side of them, but again, they come on everything. She doesn't have the baseball shirts in here, but I'm almost willing that if you wanted one with the other stuff printed on it, she'd probably offer it up. I don't know how we do that. Send an email if you can, or comment to when you go to truththread.shop, contact us or whatever. If you want one of these printed on a baseball shirt, pretty sure she can do that. I don't know. She might get pissed at me and tell me otherwise, but we'll find out. But for the moment, if you like that. Otherwise, those are typically just because I wear them all the time. I literally made her print those because I need my uniform. I wear the baseball shirt everywhere. It's awesome looking like a bum wherever you go. It's kind of cool. I like it. It's a good way to go. Go to truththread.shop, truththread.shop. Make sure you help out the channel, helping out the big picture. And it's also a beautiful family that's printing these shirts and stuff, so you're helping them out as well. Fantastic thing. And again, folks, we are fighting the fight, and we'll continue to do that. Deep State's losing in major ways, and we're going to continue to push hard. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.